Hello, Seiiti Arata. Imagine a carpenter who spends 8 hours a day in the workshop just sharpening the saw. He organizes the nails by size, he varnishes the hammer handle with great care, he finishes the day exhausted and feels like he worked really hard. But if you look at the workbench, he didn't build one single chair. So he's a great tool janitor, but a terrible carpenter. Are you this carpenter? If you came here interested in the second brain concept, it is very likely. Let me ask, how are your Notion templates? What about your automatic tables in Obsidian? Which plugins do you use? Notice that these are just polished tools, while you're playing at organizing. Real life demands construction. Today we will stop sharpening the saw and start cutting the wood. Your problem is not a lack of digital organization. Your problem is lack of biological confidence. You build a second brain, a very complex one, to compensate the fact that you do not trust your first brain. Configuring apps is a form of procrastinating with productivity. You do this to avoid real work, real learning. A second brain should not be a museum where you are curating beautiful things. It has to be like a dirty kitchen where you grab the ingredients to cook right now. If the information has no immediate utility, saving the file is an act of sabotage. Most systems break due to excess digital fat. You save things just in case you need them one day, and this is a fatal error. The brain deletes what is not useful right now. No note should enter your system without an active project linked to it. If the information has no immediate utility, it is just noise that will hinder your search in the future. For example, did you find an interesting article about the history of the automobile? If you are not opening a car-related business this week, do not save it. Trust that the important information will find you again when necessary. A lean system that you use is worth much more than an encyclopedia that nobody's reading. You're not just accumulating knowledge, you are accumulating digital trash. Understand why this is different. You see, when you're keeping everything, you're diluting the quality of your database. You create a haystack so big that it becomes impossible to find the needle. You feel like you're preparing for the future, but actually, you're burying your execution capacity in the present. By adopting the rule of you only enter if you're paying the rent, you'll stop acting like a hoarder and you start acting like a curator. You only allow entry to what will generate value, immediate value. And this transforms your notes app from a garbage dump into an idea factory. If you want to filter what really matters and stop drowning in useless information, in the Intelligence Arata course, I will teach you the way to develop this mental filter. You can go to the link arata.se/intelligence. Stop playing librarian. Let the technology do the dirty work. You lose precious mental energy deciding if that note goes to the marketing folder or the psychology folder. Your brain does not use folders. The brain uses connections. So stop acting like an architect who draws the whole structure before starting. It is like an archaeologist who will know everything that is necessary to be discovered as you go through it. Use a single folder called archive for everything. Then you trust the search. Every time you spend tagging is a time stolen from your comprehension. You have to understand what you want from that content, not to be categorizing. You just do the dirty work while you're working with them. Do you realize the invisible cost of disorganization? Every second that you spend dragging a file to that colorful folder, it's not time creating. It is not writing. It's not solving problems. This micro decision of where I'm gonna keep this is breaking your flow state. It interrupts the genius reasoning to do mediocre administrative work. When you abandon folders and you trust the search, you eliminate friction. You throw the note into a system and then you go immediately back to work. You stop being the file janitor to become the owner of the work. Technology serves to work for you and not you working for the maintenance of the technology, right? The only way to save your productivity is declaring bankruptcy on your old notes. You avoid opening your notes app because you feel guilty. You look at that mess accumulated from 3 years ago and you feel it's very heavy. Don't try to fix the past, just declare bankruptcy. The emotional cost of trying to organize your past is higher than the value of, those old notes. Just create a folder called Dad Archive and just copy and paste everything over there, everything you have inside. Start from zero. Start with a clean screen. Free yourself from the dead weight to regain mental speed. The mental clarity that you gain by seeing a clear screen is far superior to the value that old notes organized, but that you're probably not going to be reading again. And this is fundamental because guilt is the greatest enemy to productivity. As long as you feel like, oh, you should be organizing that, you will procrastinate. That pile of old notes is an anchor holding you in place. You cannot navigate to the future dragging the weight of years and years of mess. So by declaring digital bankruptcy, you cut the rope of this anchor. You forgive yourself. You allow yourself to start over. Immediately that tool becomes useful to you again because it stops being a source of anxiety to be a blank page for you and your new ideas. If you want to learn how to have this courage to reset and build an intelligence that does not depend on old files, you can access the link arata.se/intelligence. Stop trying to fit the world inside the map because that will make the map useless. Jorge Luis Borges he has a story about an empire that had cartography as an obsession. The cartographers wanted to have perfection, so they made a map that had the very same size of the empire. Every tree, every road, every house, everything was on a map. Well, the result was failure. The map was perfect, but it was useless. It was too big to be opened, and it covered everything. The following will just, the following system is just not useful. Your brain containing every article, every quote, every thought that you thought was cute, it's a useless map. You have to start creating something that you actually use. A napkin with just 3 scribbled ideas that you can execute is much better than having a perfect database that is too complicated for you to open, too complicated to use. Do you understand the gravity of this? So, from today on, stop trying to capture the whole world. The map is not the territory. So focus on what you can use right now. Why do you feel this desperate need to save everything on your computer? Because deep down, you are afraid of forgetting. You don't trust your own biological memory. So you think that you need a second brain because your first brain was not trained. In the Intelligence Arata Academy training, we will be solving this at the root. So instead of teaching you to organize files, I'll teach you to install visual memory hooks, to use speed reading, and that information stays recorded in you, not in the app. Stop outsourcing your intelligence to software. Learn to trust your mind again. Go to arata.se/intelligence.